our world is what we make of it, then we know that our choices and decisions are what shape our society. And what we have right now is what we have given, for it's only a mirror of who we are. Sadly, the reflection isn't pretty. Staring back at us from the mirror is a broken world of social injustice, discrimination, and prejudices, especially against people with disabilities. Championing the course to heal this split is a network for the advancement of people with visible disabilities, NAPVID. We have decided to be a voice. You too can. Join Hitches and Voices every Friday at 2 p.m. on Independent Radio 92.3. Hitches and Voices. Spot the hitch. Be a voice.
From 92.3 Independent Radio. Independent Radio.
Good afternoon, Benin City. It's indeed another very exciting Friday afternoon on Independent Radio 92.3. My name is Kingsley Okoje, and I would like to say a very big welcome to the program today. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. It's been a very rainy week. It's been very cold, and I hope you are coping with the weather. In any case, on Hitches and Voices today, we have decided to talk on something that is very, very interesting. Something that is like a leveler, something that bridges the gap between persons with disability and people without disability. And today, we'll continue the conversation we started some time ago for those who follow this program. And we are talking about digital inclusion. If you know, the world is going global, the world is going digital, the world is going ICT, and it's just a matter of time. If you are not ICT compliant, you will be left behind. And for persons with disability, inclusion, going into mainstream society is the main deal. No person with disability wants to be left behind. And so NAPVID, as a result of that, has embarked on a project in partnership with the Edo State government through Edo Jobs and GIZ to ensure that digital inclusion is a reality in Edo State for persons with disability. So that's much we'll be talking about on the program today. I'd like to say that this program, Hitches and Voices, is coming to you courtesy of Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disabilities, NAPVID. NAPVID is a non-governmental organization here in Nigeria, in Benin City, that is advancing the rights of persons with disability, bringing succor, putting smiles on the faces of persons with disability in Nigeria. The reason I'm excited about today's presentation is that when I talk technology, I get super excited because I like to paint a scenario for you. Imagine you're unable to do some of those things you used to do before, like coming from work, stopping by at the vendor to pick up a newspaper. Imagine you can't access your phone, maybe as a result of something. Imagine you can't brush your teeth. Imagine you can't move from your house and walk to the viewing center to watch football. Imagine you can do those very ordinary things you take for granted that you can do before. It makes life very miserable for you. That's how it is for persons with disability. Living a life where you can do ordinary things. Living a life where you can do things you would have loved to do. And don't forget that disability are of two types. We have those who are born with disability and those who are congenitally disabled. So whether you are congenitally or whether you acquire it in life, those who acquire it in life. The thing is, disability put a stop to certain activities in your life. But what has technology come to do? Technology has come to bridge that gap. I remember there was a time I didn't even know what it meant to own a phone when the BlackBerry phenomenon came and everybody was talking about, give me your PIN, and all of that. I was lost. I didn't know what was happening within that space because I had no access to use that technology. I was excited when all these Java phone and all those phone came around. At least I could still see phones with buttons. But what happened? We now have phones that are very accessible, that has talkback device. I can literally, surf the internet, do anything that you can do on every social media platform. I'm active on Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Facebook, anything that any other person can do, I can do. Why? Because technology has made that possible. I also remember my days in university. It was terrible. I used to use the typewriter. And I'm sure when I mention typewriter, many of you know what that is. When you go to any office way back, what you see is a secretary with a typewriter. That technology was frustrating because I would write, and if I make mistakes, I don't have a means to correct that mistake. I just write and hope that what I'm writing is correct. So it's difficult for me to keep track of any mistake that I have made. But what did technology do? There came the era of laptop. And now persons with disability don't just own a laptop, they can use the laptop with the device called screen reader. Whatever it is you're typing on your computer, there's a talkback device that is telling you what is appearing on your screen. You can literally do anything that any other person without disability can do with their laptop. So assistive technology doesn't only aid in terms of communication, information, it aids in terms of mobility as well. So for those who are on wheelchair, you have motorized wheelchair, you have wheelchairs that can navigate their ways very easily. So you can see that technology has made life more easy, because when people think technology, what comes to mind is a gory picture. People just think that, oh, these people are people who are frustrated, people who are angry about life, people who cannot live normal lifestyle, and so they feel sorry for them. They feel a sense of pity and sympathy for them. But it's not really like that. Technology has come to bridge the gap. I don't want to advertise any product, but there are phones that you have, for instance, as a blind person, that tells you the weather. There are phones that we have that you can download the software that's called color identification, that can tell you if you want to wear a cloth, whether it's black, blue, green, yellow, gray, whatever shades of color. There are applications that can identify money. There are applications that can do so much for persons with disability, for people with hearing impairment, for people with visual impairment. So disability is no longer a death sentence, because technology has made the world a very small place. Imagine me in Nigeria communicating with blind folks in Pakistan, in India, and I'm amazed what they do. Here in Africa, places we can work is a bit limited. Most of the persons in disability in Nigeria restrict themselves to the arts, law, education, mass communication. But if you go to places like India, Pakistan, US, you see persons with visual impairment who work in banks. They work in the ICT units in banks. You see persons with visual disability who work in tech companies. They design websites. They design apps for games. So it's an amazing world that technology can create for persons with disability. Much said, I don't intend to bore you so much with my talk, but I'm just trying to lay background for you to know that if you have a child with a disability, that's not the end of the world. There's so much that child can do. The world is evolving. Internet penetration is not so much in Nigeria, but it's a beautiful thing what the Edo State government is doing. Over 2,000 kilometers of fiber optics has been done in Edo State across the 18 local government. That tells you that internet coverage in Edo State is something that we should celebrate. That will ensure access to healthcare, access to education. So persons with disability who live in rural environment will be able to access the internet and will be able to make their lives much more better. Shout out to the Edo State government for that wonderful initiative. But in any case now, let's zero in into what NAPVID is doing. Like I said, NAPVID knows the importance of technology. NAPVID knows that the future is technology and that persons with disability must not be left behind. And so, in partnership with Edo Jobs and GIZ, NAPVID put together a training, digital inclusion training for persons with disability. We're zeroing into an interview we had with one of the facilitators and some of the participants of that program. I will be right back to talk some more.
I am a visually impaired computer trainer. I have a certification called the CPACC, which is Certified Professional in Accessibility Competencies and I have a master's in disability studies. I've been training blind people in the use of computers since 1995, and I'm happy to be in Edo State doing this in collaboration with NAPVID, and also I know it's sponsored by GIZ in collaboration with Edo Job, and this project is about digital inclusion, so I am coming to facilitate it, because that is what I discovered a long time ago, that the easiest way, the only way persons with disabilities can equalize opportunities with people who are not disabled is through ICT. What we are trying to do here is to ensure that blind people in Edo State have the digital skills that will help them to get good jobs, to also perform well in school, and even for recreation and other forms of participation. So we're training people in word processing, how to create professional documents, also the use of Excel, so that for those who are running business or who work in offices where data is used, they can do data entry and data analysis, those little things that make the office run. And then we also are using the internet, so people can search on the internet for the information they need. They can do their email independently, correspond with people all over the world, and also we're doing Facebook, so that they can also communicate on Facebook and social media. And part of the training, of course, we have the e-learning platform, Edo Jobs e-learning platform, where employability skills are being put online for free for people to learn. So we're also teaching the blind people how to access that website and take advantage of that facility, so that they too get the employability skills that everybody else has when they are looking for jobs. So it is, apart from what we are doing, we are building the capacity of the visually impaired persons to engage, and we expect the government and private sector employers and other people to take advantage of this and employ them, because at that point, it's about productivity, it's not about disability. For this training, we have 25 people, and that is just like a nucleus compared to the total number of blind people in Edo State. We are still going to expand it, but this is the first batch, and there are 25 people, a mixture of both men and women. We try to ensure gender balance in the selection of participants is almost equal in number, and we started on 1st of August, and we are going to run it through till 12th. So it's just about 11 days training, and it has been very intensive. And I can say, as the facilitator, that I am impressed with what I found in Edo State. The people have caught up very, very well, and they are even making me do over syllabus from what I thought they would be able to. So I'm happy that this is happening in Edo State.
I'm Evangelist Lucky Mafido. I'm the chairman of Nigeria Association of the Blind Edo State chapter. I personally am a beneficiary. I've been able to learn how to go to Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, even go to internet and be able to use the various keys to navigate your way. So in terms of when you are preparing documents and others, it is very interesting. It has been interesting, and I believe I have gained a lot. I believe it will be able to help me to do my job better as an admin officer. So, and the primary motive is to create a job for those who are not employed. And I believe some of my colleagues and some of our association members have also benefited in one way or the other.
My name is Gift Oluchi Izani. I am visually impaired, and I'm among one of the beneficiaries for the computer training currently we're having at Edo Innovate. So far, it has been a very wonderful experience. We learned how to use the computer, navigate through it with the keyboard. We went to Microsoft Word, yes, and we did Microsoft Excel. Currently, we are learning how to surf the internet, and it's a very great experience, because before now, I wasn't really so good with the computer, but now Excel is something I've been wanting to learn for the longest time. So it's a wonderful experience.
My name is Ishaka Joseph, and I've not learned computer before. This is my first time, which means that I've not even operated computer before. But the first time I found it very difficult, but when I started learning it, I learned a lot. So right now, I will tell you, I can really navigate, I can operate computer. I want to thank many of the state governments and also the Navy who are together to help us.
Oh, hello there.
Wonderful. You just heard from one of the facilitator of the program and some of the participants of that program. Once more, shout out to Edo State government through Edo Jobs and GIZ as well as NAPVID for putting that program together for digital inclusion. That is the way to go. There's no other way to bridge the gap. That is a leveler. That is one way persons with disability can compete favorably in any workspace with their able-bodied counterpart. I was talking about what the Edo State government is doing in terms of internet coverage in Edo State, and the fact that they've boasted that by September, the Edo State platform will move from manual to digital process. I mean, that it's a win for persons with disability. There are people who deny persons with disability jobs. One of the reasons would be that if you are employed, how will you deal with files? I mean, for those who are visually impaired, I mean, these files are confidential. How are you going? You can't access them, you can't read them. But what this is doing for persons with disabilities is that this conversion from manual to digital is going to help a lot of persons with visual impairment in the Edo State civil service. You already know that the Edo State government has employed a lot of persons with disability, including people with visual impairment. This is going to help them a great deal because everything is going to be done online. No, the era of carrying files from one office to the other is gone. So as a visually impaired person, you sit on your desk, you are sent a file, you access the file through the internet, you respond to the file, you send it. I mean, it just makes life more easier for persons with disability. And I also say shout out and a big thank you to designers of this technology who have persons with disability in mind. Imagine when technology are designed and they are designed just for a particular demographic. It's not designed to cater for everybody within the spectrum. It's going to create problem. And like someone always say, if you cater for disability, you cater for all. Just imagine if the lift was made for people on wheelchair. Is that not also going to help people who do not use wheelchair? Just imagine if those audio books you have are made for visual impaired people. There are people who can just go through the stress of flipping through the pages of a book and they just download an audio book and they listen. Ordinarily, that was designed for those with visual impairment. So when you design a society that is fit for one, you design a society that is fit for all. And so this goes out to, employers of labor. Don't ever think that persons with disability can't contribute meaningfully into your corporation. All you need to do is to create an adaptive solution where they can come in and you create a way where they can work, adapt it to their own special need, and before you know it, because most times persons with disability have a point to prove, so they become even more productive because they need to show that a disability in disability, even though I feel like that's an abused phrase. But there's a truth in it. I mean, there's ability in disability. And so once more, shout out to NAPVID, shout out to the Edo State government, and shout out to Edo Jobs. Okay, very quickly, I'd like us to take another report from Project Enable Africa. It's a report they did on assistive technology and how it has helped persons with disability in Nigeria. Let's quickly take that report and we'll be back.
Assistive technology is a field of ICT that makes mainstream ICT products accessible to persons with disabilities. It's very much needed because persons with disabilities cannot do what they need to do without technology.
I remember my first degree in the University of Benin. I couldn't use a laptop then. My studies were limited. I had to record just certain portions of my textbook. I had to write my exams in a typewriter where you really needed to arrange all the sentences in your head. Once you made a mistake, you couldn't go back to erase it. That was it, And so learning was tough.
When I started looking for a job after school, I went for interview in the place. I was of the right age, I had the right qualifications, but I did not get the job because they asked the question I could not answer. The job was very confidential. They asked, how are you going to handle files when we send them to you that have to be handled immediately and your colleagues are busy, nobody's going to read the printed files to you. And back then I said, okay, I'll hire an external reader. I said, but they are confidential. We cannot allow somebody who doesn't work in this firm to know what's in those files. And then I was up a stump. So we couldn't find a way around that problem, and I didn't get that job.
My HR resource manager was really, really good for me, and my direct line manager was very good for me too. They worked with me based on what I said my needs were. So because I did not, as at that time, realize that there was the kind of assistive tech like JAWS, because I was asking in the wrong places. I did not ask for that, so it was not provided.
If I didn't work in research spaces, possibly I would not know about SPSS, which exists, which also the cost is getting lower. So, and the availability also means that there is ability to use. So I think the major issue is in terms of capacity building, not just capacity, the awareness about these devices.
By the time I got out of school and I started my youth service, I saw the need to be able to get that computer literacy, and I did, and I believe that life became a lot easier.
I went with the fact that, this is something you need, and it's only going to make your life easier. And for that way, once I was able to embrace the fact that I was going to be making my work easier, I could deliver better, I could get things done faster. Once I could shift my mind to embrace that, then the rest was pretty much a breeze.
I do everything online. I find it easier to do online because I don't have to move around.
I met an HR manager some time ago in the mall, and I was operating my phone when he saw me, and he was just, wow, so you can use an iPhone? I said, oh, really? Of course, I can. He said, I would never have believed it. I said, I use a laptop. Oh, really? This is somebody that is in a position, in an office, to be able to recruit. So if I'm a prospective employee and I go to that office, of course he's going to dismiss me there and then, because he believes that, like they say, we don't have the facilities to be able to accommodate your needs.
Wow, I wish we could take more from that report, but unfortunately we are running out of time. But those are responses from persons with disability who have embraced technology. And what NAPVID is trying to do is to expand that coverage to make sure that more persons with disability have access to digital inclusion, as well as the Edo State government and Edo Jobs. We are hoping that we are able to capture more persons so that no one is left behind. This is a wrap on the program today. Don't forget, you can follow us on our various social media platforms, www.facebook.com/NAPVID Nigeria, Instagram and Twitter is at NAPVID Nigeria. So please go to these various social media platforms and check us out, see what we are doing, see how we are affecting lives. And if you want to be part of what we do, NAPVID is not just for persons with disability. We have so many volunteers who do not have any form of disability who are partnering with us to make life better for persons with disability. Visit us at our secretariat, number 34, Arosa Street off Sopomba Road, here in Benin City. Phone line 09136073671. We'll do this again next week. My name is Kingsley Okoje. Till then, spot the hitch and be a voice.
If our world is what we make of it, then we know that our choices and decisions are what shape our society. And what we have right now is what we have given, for it's only a mirror of who we are. Sadly, the reflection isn't pretty. Staring back at us from the mirror is a broken world of social injustice, discrimination, and prejudices, especially against people with disabilities. Championing the course to heal this split is a network for the advancement of people with visible disabilities, NAPVID. We have decided to be a voice. You too can. Join Hitches and Voices every Friday at 2 p.m. on Independent Radio 92.3. Hitches and Voices. Spot the hitch. Be a voice.